gentleman here is actually, I'm really excited because this gentleman here is someone that has just achieved an executive position in the company and did it all within the space of 1 month. So, we're pretty excited to be able to bring him on the line. I know he's pretty eager to get on the line, having that music played in the background. So, Mr. Foley, are you there, sir?
Yes, Bruno. Thanks for the intro, mate. I appreciate that.
No, not a problem.
Welcome to the line, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you jumping on, and whether you're already an investor in Omnia or one of our business partners or someone that's been invited along to check out what we're doing, I really hope you enjoy the next 45 to 60 minutes, and I'll do my very best to explain this opportunity as best as I can, and you'll see why we're all pretty excited with what we've involved ourselves in. So, as Bruno said, I come from a background of foreign exchange trading and did that for 12 years, and had over 1,000 clients in that industry. And it was around early last year when a good friend of mine, also another foreign exchange trader, introduced me to the cryptocurrency market. And I must admit, I put it off and procrastinated because to be honest, I didn't know anything about it. And generally when people don't know what something is, they're generally fearful of it. And I must admit that was me. So I did procrastinate for a little while. And looking back, I wish I'd invested into the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin a lot earlier than I did. However, we have such a phenomenal opportunity in front of us. And I'll share a bit about that as we go forward. So yeah, I ended up investing quite heavily into the crypto market, particularly into Bitcoin. That then led me into trading many different alternative coins and investing in different ICOs, and traded a very solid 6-figure portfolio. And I had always been very interested in the mining aspect of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, yet didn't know enough about it. And this is what we're going to be sharing with you tonight: how to earn an income from mining of Bitcoin and also a couple of other alternative coins. And I was very excited to have this shared with me about probably 6 to 8 weeks ago now. And I did a lot of due diligence onto it, and I was already sold on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, and I was already very passionate about this space and was looking for a way to delve into mining and make that an aspect of my portfolio. And now I'm also very excited to be able to share that here with all of you guys and ladies that have joined with us on the line. So that's my intro. I won't take any more of your time there. We'll jump straight in and share what we're doing here with Omnia. So before I get into explaining who Omnia is and what we've got to offer in terms of mining for an investor standpoint, I'd like to talk a little bit about the evolution of currencies, because I understand that we've got a wide range of knowledge of people here on the webinar with us tonight, ranging from those of you that are already well invested in the crypto space and have hold a lot of Bitcoin and altcoins, and to right through to people who have no idea what Bitcoin is or have never heard of cryptocurrencies, or maybe have but don't know a great deal. So I'm going to explain it in a way that someone who's brand new will still understand and be able to follow along. So evolution of currencies, you might remember. Now, none of us will remember this because it's before our time. However, we all know that it began with a barter system, didn't it? And people used to literally trade with tomatoes for grain. And then the person that had the grain would take that grain to someone else and trade it for vegetables or for animal, for stock or something like that. And that's how exchange was made. And then after that, we were introduced to gold coins. And then gold coin became the medium of transfer, and everyone saw value in gold. And so they passed around those gold coins, right? Then it was a while later that paper money was introduced. And we all know that back in the days when paper money was first introduced, it was actually backed by gold. So for every dollar of paper that was printed, there was $1 worth of gold in storage somewhere. We all know now that that's not the case. The paper money we have in our wallet is essentially worthless, really. It's just the value that we place on it because it's not backed by gold anymore and hasn't been since, the early 60s. However, we still use that, right? But what came after paper money? After that was the card system, and that's credit cards, FPOS, and I can nearly guarantee that every single person on this webinar has a credit card or an FPOS card or a bank card of some sort in their wallet or in their house somewhere, right? Then we move to what's called the digital system, and this is obviously bank transfers, wire transfers, and this, obviously enabled us to move money around the world much quicker than back when we was trying to move gold or paper money, right? So it was a huge advancement. But what I'm most excited about and what we're talking about tonight is cryptocurrencies. And cryptocurrency is without a doubt the biggest transfer of wealth that we are all going to experience and witness in our lifetime. And cryptocurrencies is a very exciting space. And before I jump into that, who recognises this fella? I'm sure everyone does. His name's Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates says the secret of success in business is in detecting where the world will go and then getting there first. And who would agree that when the likes of someone like Bill Gates and their net worth, if they are an investor in something, should we maybe take a moment to have a look and see what it's all about, and at least drop our guards a little and gain some understanding? And Bill Gates is a huge investor in the crypto space, and there's many other guys of his caliber that are big investors in this space. So it gives you a bit of an idea of why we should take a moment to learn about it. And those of you that already have, good on you. I think it's a phenomenal thing to be involved in. And Bitcoin, if you don't know, it's like just about every other currency. It's like Australian dollar or US dollar or the British pound, except the huge difference with it is Bitcoin is like email, and we can actually send money around the world just like we send an email. And you might remember back to when the technology email was first introduced. A lot of people said, email, that'll never take off. It's just a fad, right? It'll never overtake the writing of a letter, putting it into the post and sending it. Email will never take off. But look at it now, right? Everyone uses email. It's on every phone. It's on every laptop, on every computer. And Bitcoin is very much like that. We can send money around the world just like we click the send button on an email. The beauty of it is it's a much cheaper solution than bank transfers. We can also protect our money from inflation. And this is the really powerful thing. And this is all based off what's called blockchain technology. And, I'm not going to go too deep into what that is. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours last year just really researching what this technology is and what it can do for us and why this is such a powerful space to be involved in. And the main thing I want you to understand is that it's peer-to-peer. And what that means is blockchain technology does not require third parties such as banks to transfer our money. So what it's essentially doing is taking the power from the banks and these large institutions and putting the power back into the hands of us, i.e. we have pure control over our money, i.e. our Bitcoin or whatever altcoin we have, and we have full control over that. We can manage it and send it anywhere in the world at any time we want at the click of a button, and it's very, very cheap to move money around. I love this statement. What the internet has done for the information and media world, blockchain technology will do for the financial system. Now, this is a good graph for people who are new to Bitcoin and don't really understand its history. This gives you a 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's 9 years, isn't it? An 8 year snapshot of Bitcoin's past performance. So if you have a look to the far left over here, you can see that back in the 31st of March 2011, Bitcoin was trading at 70 cents. Who wishes they bought some Bitcoin back then? I know I do. And then a year later, 31st of the 3rd, 2012, was trading at $4.90. Year after that, 93. You get the picture. Right up until a year ago, it was trading at $1,000. And just last month, on the 31st of March 2018, Bitcoin was trading at just over $7,000. Now, current market price as of today, Bitcoin's trading at just over $8,000. development of cryptocurrencies. Just a few facts for you. Over 10,000 people have become millionaires thanks to crypto. And the crypto market's grown more than 10,000% in less than 4 years. And I know I've already said this, but it's worth saying it again. Cryptocurrency is the fastest growing value transfer phenomenon in history. There's a massive transfer of wealth happening. And, in everything, it's all about timing, right? And the beautiful thing about this is you are seeing Bitcoin in very, very early days. And what I mean by that is the stats I read the other day is that less than 6 to 7% of the world has actually heard about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, which blew my mind. I thought it would be far more than that, particularly seeing it's starting to get a lot of the media attention. Everyone would agree that in 2017, the Bitcoin was talked about more and more and more on mainstream media. Now, it wasn't always positive media, but that's to be expected, right? When the institutions that are to lose the most out of this is the banking industry. So, of course, they're going to have their spin on it. So less than 6 or 7% of the world have heard about it. But here's the real cool thing. Somewhere between 1 and 1.5% of the world actually own Bitcoin. So that tells us that 98.5% of the world don't own Bitcoin. So that alone gives us a bit of an idea of how much upside there is left in this market. And we're a long way from mass adoption. Mass adoption meaning, 1 out of every 2 people hold Bitcoin. And I believe Omnia is also going to be playing a huge role in helping us to, create mass adoption in the Bitcoin market. Now, due to a partnership with Visa and MasterCard, you can now pay at 36 million points of sales worldwide, which is pretty exciting. Now, for those of you that have been in the crypto space a little while, you would definitely have heard of Ethereum. If you're brand new to it, Ethereum is another coin. It's called an alternative coin. It's very much like Bitcoin. I don't want to go too deep into it because I'll just confuse those that are brand new, but essentially Omnia, not only do they mine Bitcoin, but they also mine Ethereum and another coin called Dash. So again, those that have been in the crypto space a while would know both of these coins very, very well. So how do you get cryptocurrencies? Well, there's 2 ways. The first way is buying. And to buy Bitcoin, and this is the question that I got so much last year as I started to invest into cryptos, and obviously as my account was continuing to grow and grow, a lot of my friends and contacts were starting to come to me and saying, Kane, can you show me how to get Bitcoin? How do I do it? And what generally someone has to do is they have to go and open an account, which is an exchange account. And there's accounts like Coinbase or CoinSpot or BTC Markets. And what these accounts allow you to do is send your Australian dollars or your US dollars or whatever currency you use to this exchange, and from there you can then go and buy Bitcoin with it. So that's one way. Now, the only disadvantage I see with that is you have to pay whatever the current market price is. Now, we know that Bitcoin's trading at over $8,000. So if you was to go to market right now and buy 1 Bitcoin, it will cost you $8,000. And I just want to clear up a common misconception. A lot of people think you have to buy Bitcoin in increments of Bitcoin. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'd love to get into Bitcoin, but I just can't afford $8,000 right now. So that's a common misconception. Bitcoin can be broken down into many different increments, meaning you can invest as little as $10 to buy Bitcoin from most different exchanges. So that's the first way, right? You can accumulate Bitcoin and increase your portfolio by going to an exchange and paying market price. Another way that you can do it is by trading. And as you know, I'm a big believer in trading. I've traded foreign exchange markets for many years, and I now trade Bitcoin and many different alternative coins. However, I will admit that it's definitely not a method that I would recommend to the general population, because trading requires huge amounts of skill. It requires a lot of experience. You have to have learned how to read charts. You have to understand support and resistance. You have to be able to understand all the technical analysis and fundamental analysis. And the stats are that 95% of traders blow their entire account in the first 90 days. So while I'm a big believer in trading, and it's a phenomenal way to increase your Bitcoin portfolio, I definitely wouldn't recommend it to the general population or for people that are looking at cryptos for the first time. So while it's a phenomenal way, not something I'll be recommending. This next one, however, is something I can hand on heart say definitely worth looking into, and a great way for anyone, whether you're a brand new investor looking at cryptos for the first time, or whether you're an experienced and seasoned trader. Mining is a brilliant way to have to look into to see if it's if it would suit you to increase your amount of Bitcoins you hold and increase your portfolio. Now, there's two ways to mine as well. The first way is you can go out, spend multiple tens of thousands of dollars on buying these specialized computer equipment. They're called Bitcoin miners. They're very, very expensive, thousands of dollars for one Bitcoin miner. And these computers are very, very loud. They have to run 24 hours a day to run these mining algorithms. They chew huge amounts of power, and you have to be really quite educated on how not only to set them up, but to maintain them and run them. So a lot of people have over the years gone out and tried to set up their own mining setups in their spare bedrooms or in their garages. And it used to be profitable years ago. However, particularly in Australia, with our energy costs extremely high, it's just not feasible anymore. And before I get into explaining how Omnia fit into all of this and who they are, I just want to help you understand what mining is in a nutshell. So back in 2009, when Bitcoin was first created by an entity called Satoshi Nakamoto, that was the name of it. We don't know if it was a man or a woman or whether it was a group of coders, we're not sure. However, this anonymous entity created Bitcoin, and Bitcoin to be produced has to be mined. Now, I don't know about you, but when I first heard the term mining, I literally pictured someone with a axe and chopping into the ground like you would mine gold. But obviously we know that's not how you mine Bitcoin, even though I've had people say, so where do they actually mine these Bitcoins from? Where do you go and get them? So mining, guys, is just the term for the computer algorithm that runs and creates these Bitcoins. And back in the day when Bitcoin was first created, you could actually mine a Bitcoin from your own laptop. In fact, you could mine probably 5 to 10 Bitcoins a day from your laptop. However, that same amount of computational power from a laptop, it would take hundreds of years to mine one Bitcoin. And the reason for that is, as more and more Bitcoins are being mined, there's something called the Bitcoin mining difficulty rate, and that increases year after year the more and more Bitcoins that have been mined. So what that means now is, to mine Bitcoin successfully, you essentially have to have these supercomputers, and that's where these Bitcoin miners come in, these Bitcoin mining computers, and this is where Omnia steps in. So who is Omnia? Omnia was created by a gentleman called Robert Velg, and I've done a fair bit of research on Robert, and Robert has been in the cryptocurrency space for quite a few years now. He's a very early investor. His personal net worth is over 10,000 Bitcoins. If you're trying to run the maths on that right now, I'll help you out. 10,000 Bitcoins at current market value is over $80 million. So it's safe to say he knows what he's doing, and he's done all right out of the cryptocurrency space, right? Now, he's been mining for many years, and he's actually been mining for institutional investors only. However, late last year, he created Omnia, and he was actually approached by a very smart gentleman who understands the direct selling industry. And this gentleman approached Robert and said, Robert, you've got such a phenomenal product, being the mining farms that you've set up. Would you be interested in aligning yourself with the direct selling industry and using that to capital raise and increase your mining operations throughout the world? And that's what he did. And this is where Milan Sormaz comes into it. He's the CEO of Omnia. There is a website that we'd be happy to share with you. It's the Omnia Tek website, and you can go there and actually, check out the bios on both these gentlemen, plus the rest of the team. So a bit of facts for you on Omnia. It was founded back in 2017. They're obviously an officially registered company. We're active in 198 countries now. I know it says 195, but they are expanding very rapidly. They're a hash power service provider. Now, hash power is, again, just a technical term for computational power, or the power that the computer outputs, or these Bitcoin miners, how much computational power they have. It's called hashing power. Omnia mine various cryptocurrencies, like I said before. And here's a real key fact here. Omnia own all of their hardware outright. So they're not renting it from anyone. They're not affiliated with any other cloud-based mining operation. They have 100% ownership, and they also service and maintain all of their equipment. And they're having constant expansion. Now, this is what got me really excited when I started to see the evidence of Omnia's mining operation. And something I'll point out to you guys is you have to be careful in the cryptocurrency space. There's a lot of sharks out there, unfortunately, and being a widely unregulated market, there's a lot of unscrupulous and unethical people trying to take advantage of new, unsuspecting investors. And so anytime that you're looking at any kind of mining operation, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, can I see evidence of the mining farms? This is the most important thing, because there have been, unfortunately, some cases of some companies out there that have gone on to promote mining operations and getting investors to invest with that company, yet there was never any evidence of the mining farm. The company board of directors would never expose themselves, i.e. never give their names and so on. And these are huge red flags. And this is why when I was first introduced to Omnia, the first thing I asked is I want evidence of the mining operation. Now, of course, we can only see pictures here. However, if you wanted to get back in touch with the person that invited you to this webinar, we would actually be able to show you some really cool videos of my business partner and the gentleman that introduced me to this webinar tonight, of him actually walking through the Sweden mining farm. And that's a very powerful video, and that's something that I needed to see to say, yep, fantastic. These guys are legitimately running these mining operations, and they're very transparent. So at the top left corner here, you can see a picture of their Sweden mining farm. And I think you can already get the picture that these are huge operations, and these guys really know what they're doing. If you can see this picture here on the right, this is their Austrian mining farm. If you just see this one square here, I don't know if you can see my pointer, but that is actually one Bitcoin miner. Okay, that's one. Now, the Sweden mining farm runs over 40,000 Bitcoin miners alone. And then there's actually 2 farms in Sweden, plus another one in Austria. And then this bottom picture here, which is the Armenian operation. This is pretty exciting because not only have Omnia made some great relationship with the Armenian president. The Armenian president is actually going to be guest speaking at Omnia's official launch in Armenia in a couple of months' time. But they actually made some changes. The Armenian president and his government made some changes to their country's laws to allow their country to be the first cryptocurrency-friendly country. And that then allowed Omnia to open what is the first cryptocurrency bank in Armenia. So they're no small-time operation. And this bottom picture here in Armenia gives you a bit of an idea of the scope of the mining operation that they are setting up right now. Now, this has just been renovated. This is an old shopping centre, and it's just the renovations are completed. And right now, this week, Omnia are rolling out their first 40,000 Bitcoin miners. And when this operation is at full capacity over the next 6 to 8 weeks, it will have in excess of 120,000 Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dash mining computers in that one farm alone. So yes, they are a huge operation, and yes, they have enough hash power to keep up with the amount of new investors that are coming on board, because Omnia is growing at a very rapid rate, and for obvious reasons. Everyone's looking for an investment that is above board, that is transparent, that checks out, and the numbers have to make sense too, and that's what we're going to go through in just a moment. So now we're going to talk about some mining plans and help you understand this a little bit better. So what you might remember I talked about before was there was 2 ways that you could accumulate Bitcoin. First way, you could go to the market, i.e. open up an exchange account and buy a Bitcoin at whatever the current market price is. Now, we know it's a bit over $8,000. So if you use to go to market right now with, let's run the numbers off 8,500, because this is the numbers we can look at together. If you was to go to the market with 8,500 US dollars right now, you would get one Bitcoin, maybe 1.05 or something like that, right? So let's keep it one Bitcoin for easy maths. So now let's have a look at these hashing power figures. Now don't be confused by this, it's actually really quite simple. You can see here that if someone was to invest $8,500 into an Omnia mining contract, that would generate 48,571 gigahash. And remember what I said before, hashing power is just the terminology for how much computational power you are purchasing. Now, Omnia keep 50% of that 48,571, and the investor, which is you and I, get the other 24,285. Now, why does Omnia keep 50%? That's because, remember I talked before about the huge overheads in mining, and they really are. Not only do you have the real estate to start with, but then you've got to purchase all of those Bitcoin miners and Ethereum miners and so on. Then you've got power, and the power really is quite a considerable cost in these mining farms. Then you've got security on the mining farms, then you've got to have the technical team to run them. So there is a large amount of overheads to run a mining operation. And then also a percentage of that 50% that Omnia keep goes back into funding the Omnia compensation plan. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that soon, guys, about how you can actually be rewarded for joining with us to capital raise for Omnia, if that's of interest to you. So again, let's look at the figures. $8,500 investment gives 48,571, of which we as an investor get 24,285 of that gigahash. So now I'm going to go to another page. I'm going to type in 24,285. Is that the right figure? I've got terrible memory. 24,285. 24,285. Excellent. So what I'm showing you here, guys and ladies, is a website called cryptocompare.com. This is a completely independent website to Omnia. There's no affiliation whatsoever. This is where you as an investor who was looking to invest into a mining operation, or whether someone was looking to set up their own, this is where you would come to run the numbers on it to make sure it was going to be profitable. So we've gone to Crypto Compare. I've clicked on mining, clicked on the Bitcoin calculator. Now we've typed in the hashing power, which is gigahash, 24,285. Now, normally you'd have to type in how much power consumption your mining, your Bitcoin miners would be running and the cost per kilowatt. And there's also what's called a pool fee that you have to pay as well. However, we know that Omnia takes care of all of those overheads. So we as the investor get to keep 100% of our allotted hashing power. So what does that mean over here? Let's have a look at what this calculator tells us. Right now, based on Bitcoin's current price of just over 8,000, that would give us a profit of $387 per month. Now, if Bitcoin was to increase in price back to, say, 16,000, and it's previously been higher than that back in December, there was a bull run in the crypto market, and we saw Bitcoin trading as high as 18,000. It's an extremely volatile market. It moves up and down all the time, just like all markets do. And right now we know it's trading at a bit over 8,000. However, remember, huge upside to the Bitcoin market, and that's because Bitcoin, there is actually a limited supply. There's only ever going to be 22 million in circulation, of which 16.5 million of those are already being mined. That means there's about 6 million Bitcoins left to be mined. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to get as many of the Bitcoins mined into our own wallets, and that's what we're sharing with you here as an investor to show you how to do the same. Now, if Bitcoin was to go back to $16,000, like I just said, double what it is today, then this figure would also double. So the fiat amount, or the Australian dollar amount, if you will, is going to change dependent on the price of Bitcoin. I'm sure that makes sense to everyone. If we see Bitcoin trading at 50,000, which many analysts predict it will over the next 12 to 24 months, then obviously this will be considerably higher on the fiat value. However, I don't want to focus too much on that, because what we really need to be looking at, and what's the most important, is how many Bitcoins is it producing for us. So remember what I said, we're looking at this here. This is based off an $8,500 investment. If you was to go to market right now with $8,500, you'd be able to buy 1 Bitcoin. Now, if we was to invest that same $8,500 into a mining contract with Omnia, that is going to mine 0.58. Can we call it 0.6 just to keep the maths really simple? So 0.6 Bitcoins in the first year. Now, remember I talked before, and I don't want to over confuse you at all. However, I do want you to understand how it all works. Each year, the difficulty rate of mining of Bitcoin increases a little bit as more and more Bitcoins have been mined. So next year, our mining contract won't produce 0.6 of a Bitcoin. It'll produce somewhere around 0.5, so half a Bitcoin. So if we add those two figures together, 0.6 and 0.5, after 2 years, we know that we've now mined 1.1 Bitcoin. Here's where it gets really exciting, guys. Omnia are actually offering lifetime mining contracts, and that's what you're actually purchasing. Whichever mining contract an investor picks, it is a lifetime mining contract. And this is an advantage that Omnia have over all of their competition. And if you've looked into mining at all before, you will have heard of the likes of Genesis Mining, Hashflare, both above board and transparent mining operations. They're legitimate mining setups, just like Omnia is. However, they only offer 2-year mining contracts. And this is where Omnia, the numbers really start to get powerful from an investment standpoint, because we know that they'll continue to mine Bitcoin on our behalf for as long as it is profitable to do so. Now, if in 6 years' time, 5 years' time, 7 years' time, whatever the time is, it gets to a point where it's no longer profitable to mine Bitcoin, Omnia will switch our hashing power to the next most profitable coin, i.e. Ethereum or Dash or even Bitcoin Cash, which we'll be adding to our suite of products soon. And they'll shift our hashing power to that other coin for us, on behalf of us investors at no cost, and they do that for us. The technical team takes care of it. So that is a huge advantage from an investment point when looking into Omnia. So let's have a look into our 3rd year, because now we know Omnia are going to continue to mine past 2 years. So into our 3rd year now, our Bitcoin mining contract will generate somewhere around 0.4 Bitcoins, because remember again, the Bitcoin difficulty rate increases slightly each year. Now I'm dumbing these numbers right down, okay? And I'd rather do that for you. So now we know we've mined 0.6 in our first year, 0.5 in our second, 0.4 in our third. So now we know that we've now mined 1.5 Bitcoin in 3 years. Now, how many Bitcoins does the person that went to market and bought Bitcoins from an exchange have for the same amount of money? Well, we know that they bought 1 Bitcoin, right? We talked about that before. They went to the market with 8,500. They bought 1 Bitcoin. They'll always have 1 Bitcoin. Yes, of course, the value of that Bitcoin will be fluctuating from day to day and increasing in time as the Bitcoin market, more and more investors come in and institutional money flows into the market. However, they'll still only ever have 1 Bitcoin. So now here we are as an Omnia investor. On our 3rd year, we've got 1.5 Bitcoin. Now in our 4th year, when it continues to mine for us, it'll mine at least 0.3 of a Bitcoin for us, at least. So now we know we've got 1.8 Bitcoin, and so on and so on and so on. So I think from an investment standpoint, you can see that it makes sense to consider a mining operation over just going to market and purchasing at the current market price. So I hope you've followed and understood all of that so far. Now back here to the mining plans that Omnia offer, you can see that there are many other options other than an $8,500 investment. We've got a whole range of mining contracts, and it's really a get in where you fit in opportunity. You can see we can cater for investors as low as $100 US to 500, 1,000, 3, 5, right through to $100,000. And if you was looking to invest further than that, as quite a few people have, Omnia can tailor larger mining contracts for higher end investors, and they have done so. I was speaking to Bruno the other day, and he was telling me about a gentleman overseas who had a mining contract tailored for him for over $1.5 million. So Omnia really can cater for any level investor right down to, brand new investors into the market that are just don't have much funds behind them, right through to those that are, sitting on nice amounts to invest. So it's a getting where you fit in. And the way we help you decide on what mining contract you should have is, it's a pretty simple question. We would say, look, if you was to go to market right now, how many Bitcoins would you like to buy? And some people say, I'd buy 2. Fantastic. If you want to buy 2, then the mining contract best for you would be $15,000. We run the numbers, show you why a mining contract with Omnia over the next few years is going to be far better than just buying from an exchange. So I hope that makes sense to everyone so far. Now, we also offer Ethereum and Dash. I'm not going to run the numbers on those now, guys, because it's pretty much the same as what we've done with Bitcoin. I just wanted you to understand how it works. So from a mining perspective, it's pretty simple. You choose your mining plan, you select which one suits you, you make a one-time payment only. There are no ongoings, there are no overheads, there's no expenses to keep it running. There are, however, Omnia take care of all of that. From an investment standpoint, it's your one-time fixed investment into a mining contract. 14 days later, Omnia begin mining on your behalf in one of those mining farms that I showed you, and that happens 24 hours a day. Now, why does it start after 14 days? That's Omnia's cooling off period. Then they begin to pay out daily Bitcoin outputs into what's called the Omnia back office, and it looks a bit like this. So the Omnia back office, any investor or business partner that partners with us into Omnia, you get access to the Omnia back office and you have your own mining dashboard. And in here, you can see all of your daily Bitcoin outputs that are being paid into your back office. Now, the great thing here is not only are they mining daily for us, 24 hours a day, but you've got an overview of all your results and it's requestable at any time. And this is really important. Again, I talked before about you really need to do your due diligence in this space. And that's what I was saying before, how there were some shonky individuals that set up some fake mining operations that no evidence of the mining farms, like I said. And another red flag that you really got to look out for is they force investors to have their money tied up for long periods of time, i.e. 90 days, 180 days, even 6 months and 12 months. And that's a huge red flag. Now, Omnia, of course, don't do that because they're a above board, legitimate mining operation, and you've got 100% control over your Bitcoin that's been accumulated in your back office, and you can request it at any time. And what that means is you can transfer that out into your own wallet. And if you don't know what that means, we can certainly help you with that. But essentially, you can have a wallet on your phone, you can have a wallet on your desktop computer, or there's such things as what's called cold storage devices, i.e. Ledger Nanos and Trezors, and these are little USB-like devices that you can store all of your cryptos on so that they are away from prying eyes and so forth. Impossible to hack, right? And that is a beautiful thing that Omnia doing. I really like that they have that, requestable at any time. Full transparency, as you can see all of the outputs in your back office, and they're, of course, minimizing the costs on our behalf. Now, there are essentially two income streams to Omnia. And if you've been welcome to this webinar from an investment standpoint only, you just wanted to come and learn about the mining opportunity that Omnia has, and you was considering it from an investment standpoint to just invest into a mining contract and have Bitcoin being mined on your behalf 24 hours a day, then this is actually the end of the presentation for you. And you're more than welcome to leave from the webinar, and I would then encourage you to get back in touch with the person that welcomed you to it, and they'll be able to give you a link to your own mining dashboard, and we'll be able to then help you get set up. And of course, in 14 days' time, you'll now have Bitcoin being mined for you. Obviously, that's a phenomenal thing from an investment standpoint. However, there's a second part to the Omnia income stream. And if you would like to stick around with us, we'd like to share with you how you can join with us to become a part of our capital raising team. So if that's for you, please stay by. for those of you that are still with us, and I can see it's everyone, so we've got a great group of people here. We've now got another really exciting income stream to share with you. So what Omnia do, and we're obviously looking to for partners to help capital raise, and Omnia have huge goals of being the largest mining operation on the planet, and they're well on track to do that. We've definitely got the expertise behind it and a phenomenal board and company to be able to roll this out. And with that requires huge amounts of capital from an investment standpoint to come into this space and to fund into mining contracts. So what Omnia have done, this is where they're utilising the direct selling industry. And Omnia reward you with a 10% direct referral commission. So if you was to bring, and we run these webinars weekly, by the way, and very soon we're going to be running them much more than that, i.e. 2-3 times, even daily when we are running at full capacity. So it's very simple for you to obviously be able to bring a potential investor who has interest in this as well, or someone that wanted to get into the crypto space but was maybe a bit scared or didn't know where to start. Then you could welcome them along. And if they subsequently went on to fund a mining contract, Omnia say, hey, thank you very much. We appreciate you helping us to capital raise. Thanks for bringing the referral. And they will then pay you a 10% commission on that direct referral, and they pay it in Bitcoin into your Omnia back office. So on a $25,000 mining contract, that actually pays out it has a points that goes with it, which is 20,000. So they pay out 10% on that 20,000, which is the equivalent of $2,000 commission paid in Bitcoin into your Omnia back office. So that's pretty cool, right? Then the third part of Omnia's income stream is if you wanted to join with us and manage a team, i.e. the networking side of it. And this is where it gets really, really exciting. And this is why Omnia is moving so fast, because the direct selling industry has been around for many, many years, over 60 years. And it's a widely respected industry in the community, particularly when it's done right and done ethically, like we are doing here with Omnia. And this is why Omnia is growing at such a rapid rate. And something you'll probably be interested in is Omnia actually growing at the rate of 2,500 to 3,000 investors and business partners every single day. And that growth is predominantly happening out of Europe, Latin America. And as you saw, we're in many countries now. However, the really exciting thing for all of us that are looking at this right now is Omnia is brand new to Australia. So we're in what's called a pre-launch phase, and anyone that understands the direct selling industry, or you might know it as network marketing, will know that timing is a key distinction. And the timing we have here right now in front of us is just perfect, because we have what is essentially a completely untapped market. Everyone is talking about Bitcoin. You know, as I've heard Bruno say many times, Bitcoin's a new kid on the block, and it really is. Everyone's talking about it. No one really understands it, but everyone wants to get involved, but maybe they're a bit too scared to, and they don't know where to start. And this is where Omnia plays a huge role in helping to bring that mass adoption to the crypto space and allow for a new investor that maybe doesn't know too much about what it is to invest in a much safer manner than just trying to trade or buy and hold Bitcoins. So what happens here is, if you was to partner with us, this is you here at the top. And the first rank in the Omnia compensation plan is called Jade. And to be a Jade, it just means you've funded a $500 mining contract. You've introduced one person on the left side of your business that's introduced a $500 mining contract as well, and someone on the right side of your business that has also funded a $500 mining contract. And that then puts you at the first rank of Jade. And there are up to $28,000 of team commissions per week available from the Omnia Comp plan. They have leadership matching bonuses. I'm not going to go too deep into detail on this. And here you can see that the incomes that go with these ranks are really quite significant. As Bruno mentioned before, if you heard, I've been involved with Omnia for just 4 weeks. And I reached the rank of Ruby a couple of days ago. So it's really a space that's moving quite quickly. And we're finding the capital raising side of this really quite fun. And, it's a really, I'm very passionate about this, the crypto space. You can probably hear that in my voice and see it in my eyes and so forth. But what we're finding is that people, when they come to these webinars and listening to what we've got to say from any investor, whether they understand network marketing or have no interest in it or not, they can see the numbers make sense from a mining side. And so we're finding that it's really quite easy to raise capital in this space. You can see here is a Sapphire. Your monthly bonus for reaching that rank is around the $2,000 US, and Ruby it's around 4,000, Emerald 8,000, Diamond 18, Blue Diamond 50, Black Diamond 200. You get the picture. And I'm just sharing that with you to show you that there is a really strong income stream that you can build from the compensation plan and from partnering with us to build a strong network of people who are all working together to capital raise for mining contracts. And this is what the ranks look like. So the first one is Jade. Remember, I just told you how to be Jade. One account at the top, 500, one person underneath you on the left, 500, one person underneath you on the right, funded 500. Quite simple, right? So now that you know how to be a Jade, you also know how to be a Pearl, because to be a Pearl in this business means you've just helped 2 people reach the rank of Jade. So obviously we are just, excuse me, duplicating what we're doing and ensuring that everyone has the same success, and we obviously move through these ranks together as a team. One key distinction I want to point out, and anyone that understands network marketing will be really excited by this. Just excuse me for a sec. One key distinction here, and something I've never experienced before in this industry, and I've been in this industry for quite a while, is that 100% of your network will be profitable. There are no auto ships to Omnia. There are no ongoing overheads. There is literally just investing into a mining contract, and anyone that does that, even if you invest as little as $100 into a mining contract, has a residual income and no overheads. So literally 100% of your network is profitable. And I've never experienced that in this industry before. So that's really quite exciting. And if you're looking at this and you understand networking, I know some lights will be clicking on and in your head right now, and you can see the power behind this. And then the third rank here is Sapphire. Sapphire means you've just helped 4 Pearls in your network, 4 people to reach Pearl. We've only got, I think, 4 or 5 Sapphires in the whole of Australia. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is just, again, to reiterate that the timing is just perfect for anyone looking at this right now. After Sapphire is Ruby. Ruby's a rank that I just reached. There's 1 Ruby in Australia right now. And the next rank after that's Emerald. There's literally 1 Emerald in Australia right now, and that's Bruno, the gentleman that introduced me at the start of this webinar. Then after that, we have Diamond. We have 1 Diamond in Australia, and that's a great guy named Dan. Dan's a phenomenal help. Young fella, 27 years of age, I believe, and just phenomenal support. And we've got a really great team here, guys. We're all working together to ensure that everyone is successful in this. And like I said, the fact that you can have 100% of your team being profitable, it's a really feel-good business to be involved in. After Diamond, you've got Blue Diamond, Black Diamond, and Crown Diamond. And I'll quickly show you what these look like. Sapphire is the first rank where Omnia awards you with an iPad. And of course, you've also got an income of just over $2,000 US dollars. Remember, this is on top of your mining income. So very lucrative. Ruby, you also get rewarded with a MacBook Air, plus the income that goes with that, of course. Emerald is where the company then awards you with a dream travel trip. Congratulations, Bruno. I know you just achieved this a couple of days ago. This is where you'll be able to go and fly to, I believe it's Ibiza. I can be corrected. And obviously rub shoulders with other people who are doing well in the Omnia business and meet the founders and all those kinds of things. Even walk through the mining farms, check it out, and that'll be a mind-blowing experience. And I can't wait to go and do that myself and see those mining farms with my own eyes. Diamond is where you are rewarded with a Caribbean travel. It's actually a cruise. And then Blue Diamond is a Porsche Macan car. The thing I like about this is it's not a dream car program. It's actually title in hand, i.e. they give you the keys to the car and the car's being paid for. There is also a cash alternative to this of $100,000 US dollars. The next rank after that is Black Diamond. This is a Maserati. If you're a car lover, I can imagine you're starting to really get excited about this. Of course, you've really built a very strong network by this point. You've got 6 blue diamonds in your network, and there are only actually, I believe, 2 or 3 blue diamonds in the whole world right now. Like I said, 1 diamond in Australia, no blue diamonds in Australia. So again, very untapped, untouched market, exciting timing. And the last rank is Crown Diamond, which is a Ferrari 458. So 6 ways to earn with Omnia, and we're just recapping and then we're finished, guys. The first way is your own daily mining. So from an investment standpoint, fund a mining contract. Omnia mine Bitcoin 24 hours a day on your behalf. That's the daily mining. The second way is direct sales. And so if you just wanted to partner with us and capital raise, i.e. just bring contacts and show them this presentation and they invest, you get rewarded from that. That's the second income stream available. Then if you're interested in networking and building a team with us, then these next 4 apply to you. And that is team commissions, leadership matching bonuses, team volume bonus, and ranking bonus and rewards. So start now with Omnia. And what I would generally say here is, after you've seen what you've seen here tonight, you'll find yourself in one of 3 categories. You'll either be an A, B, or a C. And an A is, yeah, look, Kane, Bruno, I'm all in. I like what I see. The numbers make sense to me. I would love to do either a mining contract or a mining contract and also partner with you guys and build a team. So that's A. B is, I also like what I see. However, I do have some questions. And that's where I'll say, please go back to the person that introduced you to this webinar. And if they can't answer your questions, they're going to set you up on a Zoom with either Bruno or myself. And we'd love to get those questions answered for you and help you understand what it is you need to understand. Or you're a C. And a C is, man, I wish I'd never got on this webinar. You wasted my time. I wish the person had never invited me, and I have no interest in this whatsoever. So only you will know where you are, and wherever you are, A, B, or C, we totally understand, and we thank you so much for jumping onto this webinar, taking your time to hearing what we've got to say, and thanks for showing the respect to the person that invited you to this webinar. I really appreciate you, and again, thank you so much for your time, and look forward to working with you if you're an A. We'd love to. Thank you so much, and have a great night, guys. Bye.